Once upon a time, deep in a forest, lived a hunter and his son Eric. Eric was too young to hunt, but old enough to have his own sled and his own pet reindeer Antler to pull it. Often during the long winter, Eric would hitch Antler to the sled, and off he'd ride over the snow to the house of his young friend Peter, whose father was a woodchopper. Then he and Peter would cross the frozen river to the house of their friends Amy and Christopher, whose father was a fisherman. All four children would go for a long, happy ride through the deep woods. One day, just before Christmas, they came upon the house of Grundy, an old woman who some said was a witch. Her skin was as crinkly as tree bark, and her voice was as harsh as the crackling of frozen twigs.
Christmas? There'll be no Santa Claus this Christmas. No toys, no presents, no Christmas tree. So deep and thick the snow will fall that Santa Claus won't come at all.
The children were terrified. Eric called to Antler.
Home, as fast as you can.
In tears, Amy asked,
"Do you really think Santa Claus won't come?"
Eric tried to be brave.
How does old Grundy know there'll be a storm?
But early on the morning of Christmas Eve, it began to snow. It snowed and snowed, and the wind howled. And Eric thought,
Perhaps in a storm as bad as this, Santa can't even find us.
by midnight the storm was worse. Just before dawn, Eric awoke, but Santa had not come. Eric thought of Peter and Amy and Christopher and how disappointed they'd be. Then he had a wonderful idea. He had a reindeer, and he had a sled, and he had lots of toys. He'd take them to his friends, and they'd think that Santa Claus had brought them. Quietly, so as not to waken his father, Eric dressed and stole out of the house. In 2 big pillow slips he had packed his toys. He hitched Antler to the sled, and away they drove through the storm. The snow was so thick he could scarcely see Antler's white tail ahead of him, but Antler knew the way. In no time at all, they reached Peter's house, then the house of Amy and Christopher. At each doorway, Eric left a sack of toys. Then Eric had another idea. He drove straight to the house of Grundy. From his neck, he took his big woolly muffler and left it at Grundy's door. In the snow beside it, he wrote with his finger, "Merry Christmas." But when Eric reached home, what a surprise was waiting. On the roof of his house, reindeer tracks, and inside, a room full of toys. Santa Claus had come after all. But look, there was a message pinned to the mantel. The message said, "To Eric, who has discovered the real joy of Christmas, the joy of giving, I appoint him my official helper. And to Antler, I give the power to race through the sky like my own reindeer." After that, away they'd go, up over the treetops, up over the houses. And down below, Grundy would wave to them. For now, because of Eric's kindness, she was the best friend any children ever had.